Welcome to Unscripted with JJ and Jamie. Today we have our special friends, Derek and Lisa, with us, and they are from Norwegian Cruise Lines. We are so happy to have you here with us today, and this is unscripted. So when we were kind of telling you what this is about, because I think most podcasts have a plan and have a, we just like to have our friends on here and share our friends with the world and everybody that wants to listen. And so my first question usually is, tell us a little bit about yourself, but I'm going to ask you guys, what brought you to the travel industry? So I'll start with you, Derek, and then we'll go to Lisa.
For me, I was fortunate when I was young. My dad traveled a lot for work, did conferences and stuff, so I got to see a fair amount of the world just doing that. And so I actually went to school for hotel and food administration, thinking I would get into hotel management. And it was a complete stroke of luck that a friend of mine at university, her father worked for a cruise line, and a couple years out of school, they were looking for somebody to do sales, and that was kind of what I did. And so I started even before I'd even seen a cruise ship, let alone been on one. And that was a while ago, many years ago, and I've been in the cruise industry ever since. So it's been fantastic.
It's kind of bizarre how we go to school, we gain an education, we think we're going to do something, but there's really another point.
A slight turn, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So that was and I've had the fortune. I've traveled a fair amount as part of my job, and. I always say my favorite trip is my next one. So I still love the business. It's really fantastic.
So where are some of the places you got to travel to?
Well, my party bragging is that I traveled to all 7 continents in 10 months.
Wow.
Completely by accident. Like I didn't actually set out to do that. It just happened.
That's like a bucket list.
Yeah. It was really quite exciting. And so I did all of them, including Antarctica in less than a year. So I've been to Japan twice. I love Japan. I would go back there in a heartbeat. Europe, I'm going back to Europe this summer. Again, there's so many places I'd like to see that I have not been to yet.
So tell us about your role at Norwegian Cruise Line today. Like, what does a day look like for Derek?
Well, for one, there's really no typical day. So I basically, I oversee the team across North America that calls on all of our travel agency partners. So these phenomenal partners, MVP, and their roles are education and training and helping with marketing and advertising and conferences and all of these types of things. And so for me, there's no 2 days alike, which is one of the things that I really like about this business, quite frankly. Today I'm here in Orlando. Yesterday I was in Miami. Next week I'm on another cruise, and it's a tough life, but
you know what though, we talk about that though a lot because people see our lives. I don't know, are you on social media much?
Yep.
Okay, so they see our lives on social media and they're like, oh, I want Derek's job. I want Lisa's job. I want to do what Jamie and JJ do. And we take our what I call our highlight reel.
Absolutely.
And we make it look so nice and I'm not complaining. Like we could be doing a lot worse, like we could have worse jobs, but it's not easy. I mean, you traveled to 7 continents. I mean, that's a lot of traveling.
It is, yeah.
And so, we understand what that means, but it's still kind of cool what we get to do.
Absolutely.
And, we actually were on a cruise in Iceland together. And,
we were.
And, it's like we get to share these memories with our partners. And I know you just said something, and I know you're probably thinking, I'm just sitting here. I'm going to get to you because, you have some fun fishing stories for us.
And that was one of my favorite cruises of all time. Yeah. Going to Iceland, going to
that
France,
was a neat one.
Going through Amsterdam, and all those, and
just with you guys,
and with Katy Perry.
Oh, yeah.
Katy Perry.
How can you beat that?
And Orlando Bloom was there too.
Yeah,
exactly.
I worked out with Orlando Bloom. I'm very excited to brag about that.
If I remember right, Cool in the Gang?
Yes,
They were on
Cool in the Gang.
Yeah, because somebody come up to him and was like, "Are you cool in the gang?" I was like, "He's not."
I'm not cool in the
He's
gang. I am
not.
cool, but I'm not
cool.
cool
Not in the
gang.
gang. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
then
we-
I think the leads, or one of the singers, come up at the elevator and started talking to us, and we talked for like 2 hours. I was like, "We've got to go. Like we have a dinner to go to." So,
Yes.
but with all that, being said, you have a very tough job, and us in the travel industry, we appreciate everything that you do. And talking about working out, you told a funny story about you were working out, and you were on a fam with, I think, some of our agents.
It was the Viva.
The Viva, and
Yeah.
Lisa had arranged some of our agents to go on the Viva.
Yeah.
And you can share with our friends what your experience of MVP and some of our magical vacation planners.
It was funny because I've spent time with you guys before, and I've talked to some of your people on board, etc. But what was really funny was this one time. It was just in December, and so yeah, it was the Viva. We were doing a little bit of a preview cruise from Miami to San Juan, and so I'm staying at some hotel down by the pier. And my routine in the morning is I get up early, I go work out, and then I get ready for the day. And I'm coming back from working out. So this is still really early in the morning. This is like 7 a.m. I'm crossing the hotel lobby because I had gone to get a cup of coffee. So I'm an hour away from being ready. Like, I am in no way close to being ready to go to the ship. And as I'm walking across the lobby, I see this group of people all in shirts, all like just practically vibrating with excitement.
Yes.
And I immediately saw, okay, this is MVP. They were all like chattering and they were ready to go. And I'm like, it's 7 a.m. What are you doing? But no, they did not want to waste a single minute of they wanted to be the first ones on that ship. It was quite funny because that in my mind is like, oh, okay, that's MVP.
Yeah. I think it's so funny because our agents know, like, Lisa goes to bat for us to get these spots. Like, these spots are not just given. Like,
Right.
They're not like, oh, well, you guys need to fill the spot, so you're just freely giving them out. I mean, there's strategy.
There's a finite number.
Yeah.
It is, and there's a strategy behind who we invite, and there's a strategy of how we get there. And so it's just so amazing, because our company is about 16 years old, 16 or like I get that mixed up, 16, 17, it may be
We started in
actually
2006.
18. So 18 years old.
I was gonna let you
See,
do that.
I have no concept of time. But especially the ones that were here in the beginning, they knew what it meant and they know what it means, and they know what your role is, and they know that there's a strategy behind it. And it's not like, oh, just we have all this space and we want anybody that's a travel agent or that calls themselves a travel agent.
Right.
I mean, we have to get the right people. And so these are the people that are excited. I mean, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. And you invest in us. We make sure that we're investing in sharing the right people with you guys. And so I love that story because I'd never heard that. I had never heard that story until today.
It was funny. I texted Lisa. I'm like, I just ran into a bunch of MVP people. Yeah.
I
Like
love
Derek
it.
at 7 a.m.
Yeah, it
Why
was.
are you texting
Well,
me?
to your point, because there is a finite number of people that we can bring on these things, and so when we look at who do we want to invite, it's not just about who's going to appreciate it and who's going to do something with it, but as well who's going to share it.
Who's gonna sell
And
it?
so your culture of your agents is very much like, I know that if we send one person, 20 other people are going to see all of the details and see all of the pictures, and that's a big thing too.
Wonderful.
But one of the things I love about the brand is the direction, of the company, and being now under the leadership and direction of Harry, who we flew over to Iceland.
With him and his, we were,
Oh, really?
we were sitting right
across
next to
and-
him and his
and
family.
his kids, and
Okay.
and
I
I
was
was like, his kids are just like us. They're just normal.
Oh, they're
kids,
normal,
you know?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's like, oh, our dad's so, it's like, I mean, it's just, they were so funny. And I think JJ went up because he had met him before, and I just looked like every other travel agent. So
saying
so
that,
he knew JJ.
Yeah,
and
so saying that, what can you tell us about, what's coming new in the line, or anything that you're working on that's innovation that, that we don't know already?
Well, if you don't know, we probably can't share. However,
That's right.
But they know Lisa tells all. So.
yeah.
That's why we keep them.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean,
Lisa close. Like,
the big thing would be, the next ship coming out is the Aqua, and that's the thing in our segment of the market is it's so much about what's the hardware, what's coming out, what's new, what's exciting. So with the Aqua, Lisa's very excited about the slide Aqua coaster.
Oh, I cannot wait. JJ, you will love this.
who will
Right?
not like it? Who will not like it? That would be me. Miss Non-Adventure.
It's
Yeah.
something, a magnetic launch or
Yes,
something.
and-
It sounds, yeah.
And there's
yeah.
duels, so you can race, so that
Yes.
competitiveness can come out.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
That screams.
Okay.
You're on.
Okay. So I've got to tell you, okay, I absolutely love your ships for a couple things about your ships. Just for me, I love it. The color.
Yes.
Just
The
look, it
art.
just looks fun.
Yeah.
It looks inviting.
Yeah.
I love how it looks.
Yep.
The racetracks. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we went on the ships, on the Encore, I couldn't get on the cars. I've lost 30 pounds. I'm getting on.
So you're riding them
You
now.
hear me?
Congrats.
I am getting on.
Congratulations.
Yes,
I love
that
this.
is my goal.
Okay.
I love the fishing. I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
I don't
Yes.
have to plan when I want to eat.
Yeah.
You know, the
That's my
freestyle
favorite.
that's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I
I love
absolutely
it.
love that. And I go up all the time, just get me a bowl of chili, some chips,
Yeah.
some buffalo wings. You know, that's my style. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a pub type
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't always want
Coney dog.
Yeah, I don't always want to
You're
sit
probably
down.
like, we have fine dining too.
You
We
know.
have fine dining.
Yes,
We're
but
like,
I
Well, no,
don't-
but that's the point
Your
is you've
Coney
got
dogs are
something.
phenomenal.
So
I got
you're a
choices.
pub
Yes.
guy. I like to, my wife and I, we like to get dressed up and do a
Yeah.
bottle of wine and do a sit down dinner and all, but that's the neat thing is on the same ship you've got that.
Yes.
You're not forced to only have these fine dining options.
Correct.
And for me, we've got them. So that's one of the things I really like about the ships. And from when we first started Freestyle back in 2000, that's when we started that whole concept of having all of these different restaurants that you can choose
Yes.
from. So to me, the variety on board is what is absolutely key with Norwegian.
I love it.
You forgot one thing.
Uh-oh.
Ice cream.
Yes.
Oh,
I was going to say, we can't. I tell you what.
No, but he
every-
just said he lost 30 pounds. It probably
Yes,
was not.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's a story behind this one.
So Lisa, I think every Norwegian, I feel like we're family. I mean, we've
Absolutely.
always been with you on every new inaugural. I mean, you've been by our side this whole long way. I'm going to ask you first, because I said in the beginning I was going to. What brought you in the travel industry? And then I think you have to talk about the ice cream, but also the fishing. We
Expedition.
have a lot of stories.
We do.
We do have a lot of stories. But what
We
brought
do.
you into the travel industry?
Believe it or not, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a flight attendant.
Really?
I just thought it was cool. I'd flown one time and said, hey, I want to do this. This will be fun. And then as life progressed and went to college, got married, had kids, kind of forgot about the
Life
whole
happened.
travel part of it. Yeah. And then one day I took my children on a cruise. It was on a competitor. It was in November. It was the worst weather. The ship was rocking. Things were
no.
flying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And I had such a great time. And I
course.
came back. You know me.
Of course you would have thought
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
It was fun. Came home and said, you know what, I want to find a different career. I want to do something different. And back then, Monster.com was big. So I hopped on Monster.com. I found a job for a salesperson for a cruise line. I said, I can do that. Long story short, they interviewed me on Wednesday, a phone interview, flew me to Miami on Monday, and hired me on Tuesday.
Wow.
And that was back in 2000.
Look at you.
So,
Great.
Well, we're so thankful that both of you guys have come into our lives. So I'm thankful for how you got into the industry and how we've crossed paths. So let's dive deep into some of these Lisa and MVP or Lisa and
I was going to say
stories.
the ice cream story. Now I really want to hear the ice
and
cream
before,
story.
and before you get into that,
These are our proudest
yes,
moments.
and before you get into that, I must say that when it comes to partnerships,
Yeah.
partnerships are driven by
Yeah.
relationships.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yep.
And you know,
Yes.
we have developed a very, very respectable but solid, you know, relationships between, you know, us as individuals and us as partners.
Absolutely.
And I think
yes.
that is as key as anything when it comes to trying to help you drive your business and help us drive our business. So, but having some fun along the way
Yes.
is very, very important.
But we
Yes.
have a lot of fun.
We have a lot.
I would say we have a lot of memories that span from Iceland to Alaska. I mean, it's so the ice cream story. Like you and JJ have this competition.
Little
Competitions.
competition. We had Doug in on it too.
Of course, and there were other agents. I mean, you guys would make loops, but
Well, they had an ice cream machine at every corner.
There was 5.
Yes,
and they
yes,
would,
and then
Derek,
the fifth one, yes.
they would stop at every at every one.
Make an ice cream cone.
And you have to eat the whole ice cream
Before
cone
you get
before
to
you
the
got
next
to the next
one.
Yeah. So
I don't like ice cream, and I don't like living on the edge either. So like,
Now,
I was an observer in a lot of these shenanigans, but it was fun to watch.
Now-
And our agents, like, then they joined in, and then it was like, then the next thing you know, like, other people are like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, so then everybody's joining in on this ice cream / who can eat the most.
And I could just imagine the ship is probably, what's happened to all our ice cream stock?
but it actually started off with just the 4 of us.
Yeah.
And then Doug dropped out, I think at cone number 4,
Yes.
3.
Yes.
And JJ and I were still going strong. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, if we get him talking about basketball, he'll forget about
Yes.
eating his ice cream.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I got him talking to somebody so I could hurry up and eat mine, and I won. so I might have cheated.
Good strategy.
Strategic,
Good
yeah.
strategy. Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
strategy.
Yeah.
A loss of focus. I lost
An
focus.
example of a loss of focus.
Shiny object, got
This is-
distracted.
This is entrepreneurship at its finest. We've been talking to our agents about this. It's like, don't lose your focus. Like Lisa got her competitor in this ice cream game marathon Olympic style.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
He wanted a rematch, but I think at that point we were like, no, I'm done with
Yeah,
ice
we were
cream.
done. We were done.
That was fun.
That was a fun thing. But also this fishing, we took a whole big group
We did.
to Alaska.
I think we had 40 or 50, didn't
Yes.
We had a lot.
we? We had a big group.
We did. And that was what, 2019? I think like 2019
Yeah,
or so.
I believe so.
And we had so much fun on that. I mean, like we did all kinds of things. Like we did stuff on the ship. Like we did games on the ship. We did stuff off. But you took, I believe it was Jada, Doug, and JJ. Was there any? Oh, and Josh
And
Weaver.
Josh.
Josh Weaver.
Yes.
On this.
We went halibut fishing in Ketchikan.
Oh, nice.
And there might have been a little wager going on, too. Possibly.
Not competitive at at all.
No,
Not
but
even a
he
little.
started it.
Of course, it's like Derek. I
Exactly.
think on these trips, I'm going to have you come to help me,
Sure.
help me keep these two in under control.
Well, we would go and we would make a little wager on first fish, biggest
Okay.
fish, most
Most
fish,
fish, yeah.
species. So
The species was
Okay.
added though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
When-
was
when
added because
something- an
I
alien
caught
was caught.
because I caught the first fish,
Yeah,
and then
it
all of
was
a sudden
called-
he
what is
changed
it?
the
What
rules.
was it? A
Oh.
mudfish or?
But it looked like an alien.
It was
Yeah,
ugly.
it did.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it was
a
bad.
fish that nobody had ever even
No.
seen. Like
No.
you know, they're pulling it out of the sea, and it's like, what is this?
Yeah,
And
Okay.
they did, like the captain or somebody's like, oh, that's a mudfish. Like
Yes.
whatever that means. So they had this big old competition, but then at the end, you guys took a picture of everybody that caught fish, right?
Yeah, and I was holding Doug's bobblehead.
So you were holding Doug's, and on this podcast, we show this on YouTube too. So we'll make sure that our producers get
That photo?
this photo.
Oh,
And
yes.
absolutely.
You want to give the background?
You notice she's avoiding something.
Well, we know we're going to give them the photo that I want to give them.
Right.
Because there are multiple versions of this photo.
There are multiple
Is it
versions
perhaps
of
slightly touched up?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not admitting to anything.
But when you see the video, you'll notice that Doug is definitely the tallest one of the group. With
Okay.
the biggest fish.
Sometimes it's about camera angles
oh,
and
yeah.
perspective.
That's what Lisa
yeah.
how she explained it to us.
Okay.
Yes.
And this one with the smallest fish was actually maybe the shortest person in
Yes.
the group. So there may have been some
That's probably
Like,
8 inches
Possible
shorter.
some
Yeah.
manipulation
Maybe.
of the. Okay.
possibly some.
It was fun, but
Yeah.
the most part, or I have to say the most amusing part, was during the seminar when I asked Jamie first if I switch their faces, will JJ get mad? And she's like, oh no, he'll love it. So I did it, and we never told him.
I like the fact you didn't ask whether
In his
Doug would get
back-
mad.
No, I wasn't worried about Doug. No, but I asked Jamie
Yeah,
to
Doug's
make
always
sure.
game for whatever.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
goes with the
And,
flow.
and as I'm going through my presentation, the picture comes up, and people in the audience start giggling.
They start
And
laughing.
it took him a minute before he figured
Exactly
it out.
right. I'm like, what are they laughing
What's
at?
so funny? Right.
And then it hit me.
And it's like
Why am
Josh,
I so short?
and Josh is like he's about the height of JJ, what you
Yes.
say. So
Yeah.
it's like Josh, JJ, Doug, about the same height as
Yes.
Josh, Jada, Lisa.
We had fun.
So she had swapped Doug and JJ's head on this.
That
on
was
this
fun.
image.
Yeah.
And it still floats around. Like this
Of course it
image,
does.
It still
Yeah,
floats
yeah.
around from time to time. So we'll have to be sure to add that on this podcast so those that's watching it on YouTube can see it.
Well, I think the main point is we're not just friends.
Yeah.
We have fun together.
Right.
Absolutely.
But business is always a factor in it, but it's all about enjoying
Sure.
Each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And you two are my favorite.
Well,
You really are.
well,
I totally
you said
admit
it.
that.
It's about relationships.
Yes.
You work with people that you like, you want to. I mean, that's the business.
Yeah. So let me ask you, talking to anyone that's out there watching, which are advisors and consumers,
And
both,
some entrepreneurs.
and entrepreneurs, what would you want them to know and to take away about Norwegian Cruise Line?
I would say with Norwegian, certainly the what we talked about, the dining, the fact that we've got so much variety on board, I think is a big part of it. Also, I think if you take a look at the Norwegian today, we've evolved a lot over the years, and sort of when you take a look at where we sit in the market these days, we're very much that upper contemporary segment where you've got all of these restaurants on board, you've got the racetracks on board, you've got the aqua coaster on board, but really importantly, you're seeing a huge development and evolution of our itineraries. And so whereas we used to be very, very focused on sort of the 7-day fun in the sun Caribbean, we've really expanded that. We're going to all 7 continents now. We are traveling all over the world. We've got 7, 10, 12-day cruises in Europe, and we're doing one-way open jaws, which means that from a customer perspective, they get to see so much more. You're seeing some really strategic itinerary development, again, especially in somewhere like Europe, where we've got a port every single day, which in Europe is really important. You want to see as much of it as you can. In the Caribbean, days at sea are fantastic. For me, in the Caribbean, a day at sea, a day in port, a day at sea, a day in port is the perfect sort of cadence. But in Europe, you want to do it all. You want to see it all. And so you take a look at where the ships are going now, and the fact that our newest ships, the Prima, the Viva, and now the Aqua, are smaller than our previous generation of ships. There's a reason why we're doing that, and because that allows us to go more places. The fact that we can bring a ship like the Prima to Reykjavik, where we can go to Iceland and Southampton and Norway and places like that, it's a very thoughtful decision with Norwegian to say, okay, we really want to lean in heavily to getting our customers to see more and to do more. And I think coming out of the pause, I think people realize that, you have a limited number of vacations in a year. You want to use them to the best you can, and you want to see more. So I think that's really what the Norwegian is about these days.
Yes.
So you've got everything that you're used to with the big ships, but you've now got this added layer of being able to see more places.
You know the other thing that I love, where you expanded? The Haven.
Oh, the Haven is
The Haven.
absolutely.
My favorite.
Yeah, of course.
She don't want to take a cruise without the Haven.
Well, you've got this ship within a ship concept where
Yeah.
you've got the ultra luxury butler service sitting on top of the pure private access area with a private restaurant, a private bar, sitting on top of a ship that has got the racetrack and
Right.
all of these restaurants and the slides and all of that. So that's for somebody that's looking for that they want all of the big ship experience, but still want that ultra luxury of a small ship. The Haven kind of gives you that.
Yeah, I love that
perfect.
ultra luxury,
Yeah,
multi-generation, because
Yes.
you've got things for everyone.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although sometimes we have maybe been known to be staying in the Haven while the others are not. Especially
you need
if they're on
you
our
need
dime.
you need some time to yourself. That's
Absolutely.
okay.
Well,
Jada I always tell the first class flight, like we flew to Hawaii one time and she wasn't in first class because our friends' kids, like they weren't, so we just did,
Right.
it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And oh man, that girl, she needs to be in the Haven. She needs to be in first class. I'm like, you need a better
Got a little
paying job.
yeah,
like, that's
yeah,
what you need.
yeah.
But
She's used to it.
she's her mother's daughter, and she likes what she likes. So
One thing you might not know too, unless you did a little bit research, on the Aqua we have a duplex.
Oh, right.
It is 3 bedrooms with 2 queen beds in 2 rooms and a bed or a single bed in the 3rd room, so it'll hold up to 5 people.
So I think we just got sold to. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that I
but
can
there's only
think-
4 on the ship,
Yeah,
so
there's
you
only-
need to
so you better
reserve
go
it early.
fast.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can think of 5 people now that make Jackson's.
Yes,
He's
absolutely.
joined. I can
Yeah.
think of 5 people, and
Uh-huh.
Jada, like, just that's.
Uh-huh.
She believes that's her space.
Well, what I was
And-
thinking about is when you took your family on the Jade
Yeah.
not that long ago, and you
Yes.
called me,
Yeah.
and you were laughing because the kids were in the room and they were jumping on the bed as we were talking. We were FaceTiming, and they were having a great time.
We
That
took
was
them
the
to
most
on a
amazing
Greek.
Was this was the
Yes.
Greek?
It
Greece?
was,
Okay.
and we had when I was a travel agent,
You remembered all
I
this?
remembered all these details, but it was the suite that it's the corner of the front part of the ship.
Oh, right,
And so
yes.
it's like, so there's a master, but there's also like another bedroom
Yeah, it's
back
the
here.
Pearl Suite, something.
It's
yeah, I know which
really
one. Yeah,
fancy.
yeah.
And so Bert, I think he was like maybe 9 at the time. Well, we would all go to bed. We would get the kids in the bed, and then we would wake up the next day, and there would be cheesecake,
Hamburgers.
M&Ms, hamburger. And I didn't really think anything because I thought it was his sister Kalia, which I believe
Yeah.
was 15 at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey guys, like, now don't forget whenever you have, and Bert goes, my butler brought this. And I said, he did. And he said, Aunt Jamie, all I have to do is pick up the phone. And he said I could call him anytime. And he said, and I do. He said, so when you and Uncle Jay are asleep, and he said, and I can't sleep. And
I call
he
him.
said,
Needs a
I call
burger,
my
right?
butler.
Exactly right.
He was calling him not only to bring him food,
I
but
love
just
it.
as because his sleep didn't get adjusted
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
like, he had jet lag. So
Yes.
he was like, he and the butler were just like BFFs.
Oh,
and
that's
so the
awesome.
butler started, like, before he would even call,
Yeah.
he would bring him gummies and he would bring him all the things. And Bert was just like,
the
Bert
way
is
to
a lot
travel.
like Jada.
Okay.
And Bert belongs in first class in the Haven suite. And you mean there's another class? Like, no, this whole thing is really like, this is nice.
And just look at the memories
Uh-huh.
that
Absolutely.
have been made
And-
on the Norwegian
Well,
ships.
because you've got stories like that.
Oh.
I mean, yeah.
I
yeah.
just-
This is what all families out there.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is what they're trying to create.
Yeah.
These wonderful memories.
Yeah.
And this is just a way to tell them how that can be done.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had the Kalia, Cam, and Bert. They had never been outside of the country before, and so it was just
Oh,
really
that would've been
special to take
exciting,
them,
yeah.
to Greece,
Yeah.
and just to tell them the history. And we actually on that trip, we flew into Athens,
Uh-huh.
and so we found his apartment from when he played. And here's the thing: we didn't have an address. I don't even know how.
So did you go by like off of landmarks and
Well,
stuff?
Yeah, he's like,
or-
it was on it. We
We
found a
hired-
driver.
We found a driver. The driver
knew
ended up
who-
being a former basketball
knew
player.
JJ.
No way.
No
that
way.
knew who I was.
He was like 13
Oh, my
when JJ
word.
played.
Yes.
and
Oh,
he's like,
wow.
I got your autograph.
Oh, no way.
Yes,
No.
that
So you were a
took
celebrity.
us to
The
my
gym.
old gym. I lived in a city in Greece called Galati.
Okay.
And I described
Yeah.
what that area looked like
He
because
said
I
there
didn't
was
know a
big
street name.
hill.
Well, yeah.
And I told him when you come down the hill, the only way you can turn was right.
And
It's
it's on a
almost
really
at a
steep
curve.
hill.
I used to park the car on this steep hill, and I mean,
He drove us
if
to
I
two
get out of
different
the car
streets.
on this hill, it felt like I was going to slide
Yeah.
down. So it was really steep.
Yeah.
He described the
I
apartment.
explained the apartment. I said as soon as I would turn the corner, you would have to do a quick
Mm-hmm.
U to get into underneath the
Wow.
the flat. You
That's
parked
amazing.
underneath.
Yeah.
I explained all of these details.
Yeah.
He found a street, and I thought it was it, and I said, "Well, I'm not sure. No, that
'cause
looks like it,
But he said, I don't
but
think
it's not it.
So he
This
took
street
us-
is not steep enough."
Okay.
So we went down, went around again,
Mm-hmm.
went all the way back up, went a couple streets over, turned. There it
And that
was
was it?
on the corner. That street
wow.
was so steep. I said, "This is it." Found the flat that I
Wow.
used to live in.
So this is what Norwegian Cruise Line did for us. Like we went to Greece, and it was I mean, so without your ship and your itinerary, like I don't know that we would have done that, you know. And without you saying, "Hey, did you see this itinerary?" Like Bert would, because you know Bert probably better than any of them, and so he was like, we were talking about like JJ and I wanted to take the kids, and so you helped us find this itinerary and
But also Italy.
yeah, and I mean, so then we found the thing, you know. So it's like, so I was telling you, like, I want to go places where JJ played, and you helped, like you and I, like, sit down, and but this was Norwegian Cruise Line that helped get us to where we were wanting to go, and we had these experiences that took him back to when he played ball. We took the kids to the gyms that he played in,
and what a great experience for the kids.
Oh, gosh,
I mean, to see. For them at that age to be able to see more of the world, I mean, it opens your eyes. It like that, they're going to remember that forever.
Yeah. And it goes back to the ports of call.
You
guys, you know, stop and dock in. What you can experience, what you can see. I tell you, it opened their worlds.
So thank you guys for that. I mean, I know you wasn't like, oh, I'm in a boardroom and I'm going to make this decision of this itinerary just for Jamie and JJ, so we can create that perfect ideal
vacation.
So one thing I want to thank you guys, and JJ and I, like we like to do business with people that we connect with, we're friends with. And so, you know, we just want to say thank you. You guys have always been so good to our agents, and you know, I know JJ asked you what advice you would like to have.
We love you.
Yeah, we do love you. And Lisa, I'm going to let you, if that's okay, close it. And if you would like to say anything to our MVPs or what MVP,
my favorite people.
Yeah, like what could you tell our MVPs that
they don't already know?
I mean, or that
anything you want to say to them.
What do you, like? I don't know, like. Something that why you say that you love us, or like why?
Oh, that's simple. MVP is my absolute favorite group of agents and owners to work with because they actually care about themselves, each other, and their clients. You really do. You have hearts as big as the world. You really do, and they care. And they care about your success. They care about the fact that you're an entrepreneur, you want to build your business, and this is the right team to be with because they are going to help you to excel, and you're going to realize your dreams.
And these are the reasons why we partner with such a great company, because we feel that way about you as well.
Well,
Derek,
thank you.
Derek
Appreciate
and
it.
Lisa, we can't thank you enough for coming on our show. And Derek, you got a good one here. She's a good fisherman.
Oh, I
She's
know.
A good ice cream
Oh,
eater,
she's threatened
but
me.
she's a good driver of sales.
Oh, she's threatened me a couple times when we're looking at like changing accounts around, and she's like, "You can do anything. Do not touch MVP."
Oh,
Well,
yeah, because she knows that I have like separation anxiety.
I was going to
Like,
say.
She literally
I
threatened
don't
me.
do well with change.
I was going to say,
of
that
people.
came from her, and then let it come from us. Derek, if you change her,
I have separation anxiety.
we won't be friends.
Okay.
No, we will be friends.
Okay,
We'll be
and with
friends.
that, I take that seriously, but she scares me more.
No, it's because like when
fun.
I go in, I go all in.
Right.
And so then when, you know what I mean, I know like sometimes if it makes sense for your business, like we understand that, and I mean we respect that, but what we build is it's bigger than ultimately the business. We're all in business. You're in business. We're in business. But when you wake up and you're like, Lisa's short on, you know, we have these goals, you know, and it's like, and I say it with some of our other vendor partners, you know, and it's like, and when I find out, I'm like, what can we do to help Lisa? What can we do to help our agents? Because our agents, one of our agents, I'm not going to name her name, but we were leaving from the party last night, and she's wanting to hit 500,000 by the end of the month, and she's about 47,000 shy.
Ooh.
Wow.
And she's somebody that we you know, we're close to, and so she starts like giving us all the promotions of every, you know, well, did you know that like if you do this, you can do this? And she said, do you guys need a $47,000 vacation? I was like, not exactly. But, and she starts selling us on, well, did you know like you can do a payment plan if you know, it's like, and so she starts selling. But that is what you do, and that's what we do with our partners. We do it with our agents, we do it with our partners. So, we're like, hey, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you sent out a campaign? Have you, like, she'll hit it. There's not a doubt in my mind. Like, I'm not buying it, but I appreciate her
enthusiasm.
thoughts, and I appreciate her goals. Just like I know you have goals, I know you have goals. We have goals. Our team has goals, and when it's just about goals, and it's just about numbers, and I don't know you, or I don't, it's kind of just numbers, and it's not, it's not that. So thank you, Derek, and thank you, Lisa.
Of course.
Thank you for watching Unscripted with JJ and Jamie.
Thank you for watching Unscripted with JJ and Jamie. Thanks for letting us be a part of your day. Don't forget to like, follow, and share on all of our social media platforms.